Good afternoon. This is Rachel with Infused Meadows, and I'm about to make some strawberry muffins. So I thought I would go ahead and show the way I do these, and then I don't know, maybe somebody out there would like to know how to make them or wants to make them but doesn't really know where to start. So hopefully this helps. Even if you do know how to make muffins, then hey, maybe this will give you an idea. I don't know. These will last 2 days on the counter. I'm making these for my husband and I for this weekend because we're going to be slightly busy, and this is something that we can grab of the morning and eat fairly quickly and then move on to the other things that we need to get done. So to start, I have 4 tablespoons or 1/4 cup of butter melted, and now it's setting to cool. Because I don't need it solid, don't really need it softened to room temperature. So I needed it melted and then cool enough so that I can add the other ingredients. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this one aside. Back there. And then we're going to get our dry ingredients. Let me grab the flour. I'll be right back. So into this bowl, I'm going to be adding 1 3/4 cup of flour that I hopefully will not be trying to throw all over my floor again, because that's awkward. So 1, and then 3/4. And then to this, I want to add 2 teaspoons of baking powder. I had to make sure I grab the right jar. So, got our teaspoon, 1, 2. I'm going to use that again, just the other side. This one's a little trickier. So we're going to add 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. Cornstarch cakes, so suggest you use a butter knife or the back of a side of a spoon, whatever you got. 1 teaspoon, and there's 2. Now we also want to add a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then we want to give this a whisk and make sure that everything is good and combined. Okay. I'm going to pause just while I move this and get all of our wet ingredients ready. Okay, so to start, like I said, we have our butter that's melted. And then we want to add to this 1/4 cup of oil. You use whatever oil you have. As long as it's non-flavored. I'm going to use the spatula that I used to get my butter. And then I'm going to stir that together. Alright. Once I know that's good and mixed, I'm going to go ahead and go in with, I need 1 cup of sugar. That's my oven. Okay, so you want to preheat your oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit or 215 degrees Celsius. We're not going to be baking the muffins at this high temperature for the whole time. You only want to put them in at that high temperature for 8 minutes. And then at the end of the 8 minutes, what you're going to do is you're going to drop your temperature down. Don't open the door, but drop your temperature down to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 Celsius. And you're going to continue baking those muffins for around 14 minutes. Feel free to check them at 12. I've found that my oven tends to need anywhere between 14 to 16. So depending on your oven, check it at 12 minutes, okay? Just stick a toothpick into one of them or two. I usually do front center and back center. And make sure that, you know, the toothpick comes out, you know, clean or with just a few little crumbs on it. Okay, so I have that good and mixed up. Now I'm going to add in one large egg, sorry. And then I'm going to mix this very well. Okay, you can see it's lightened in color a little compared to what it was when it started. You could probably use your hand mixer, but I just wouldn't. So to this, we're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. So I have a half teaspoon measure. So I'm going to do this 3 times. There's 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to give this a stir. You want it nice and combined. Okay. To this, you're going to add a half a cup of room temperature buttermilk. If you don't have buttermilk, because I don't know about y'all, but I have had a hard time finding buttermilk for the last year. You can make your own. There are several videos out there for that. Basically, milk and lemon juice. Or you can do milk and sour cream. Anyway, you can also use a half a cup of sour cream. Or you could probably even do a half a cup of just just plain yogurt. I wouldn't get the Greek yogurt for this because that might be a little too thick. And you're going to stir to combine. Now, right there, I have 1 3/4 cup of strawberries. Now, I use the strawberries that I had from my garden this past summer that I'd froze. But, you know, if you have fresh, use fresh. If you don't, use frozen. The store sells frozen every day of the week. Probably twice on Sunday. So now we want to add our flour into our wet mixture. I'm just going to go ahead and do all of that. If you feel the need to do it in batches, go ahead, but we don't want to over mix. So once you get it to where it looks like a little more than half is mixed in, go ahead now and add those strawberries. Like I said, these, my hands are clean, it's fine. These are still slightly frozen. I've set them out with the buttermilk so that they could warm, so that these could thaw just a little and so the buttermilk could come to as close to room temperature as possible. Because if it's cold, this will thicken up way too much. And then it's going to be hard to mix everything in. Make sure you scrape the bowl down. I just found a big patch of flour. Okay, I'm going to move some things around and we'll be right back. Okay, so I've just moved some things around, put some other things up, and this gave this just a few minutes to set, which is fine, doesn't matter. What you can do from here is that 4th cup measure that I used for my butter and my oil, take and you can just scoop this straight into your cups. You want these about 3/4 the way full. Don't fill them completely up because you need these to be able to expand and not run all over your pan. You get the idea? Okay, so I'm going to finish filling these up and we'll be back. So have them full, well, 3/4 filled. I'm just going to set a paper towel over there because these are small-ish muffins. If you're making bigger muffins, you'll need to adjust that second bake time that I gave you. And, you know, because the more batter, the longer it takes. So the time I've given you is 8 minutes at your high temperature. Turn it down and then start at 12 minutes, okay? Just to be safe for your oven if you're using these smaller pans. And then you'll know from there if you need to go for another 2 minutes or another 4 minutes. It all depends on your oven and how big and or small you make these muffins, okay? I'm going to put these in the oven. I have both of my timers set and we'll be back. So my muffins that are in the oven have 6.5 minutes left on them, and I've gone ahead and put what was left of the muffin mix into these two, or the muffin batter, excuse me, into these two. And as you can see, I put them straight in the center. And so these will go in as soon as those are done. And then we'll come back. I just wanted you to see what I'd done with the extra batter, and it made 2. Now, like I said, these are not big muffins. They're like 1.5 inches deep. In the dead center, I'd say about 3 inches. So, yeah, 1.5 inches by 3 wide. But at the same time, you know, you come over here, it's like 1.5 inches. Anyway, we're not talking that. Anywho, so you see what I've done. When those are done, I'll turn my oven back up. And then as soon as it reaches temperature, these two will go in. And then we'll be back. Also, because I forgot to mention this, I have one of these pans. It's got the little rack that sits in it. Comes out. Once my muffins have set in the pan for about 3 minutes, I will take them out oh so carefully and then set them on this so that they don't overcook in that pan, because you know the pan residual heat and all. And then that way they can cool off all the way around on this right here. Same as you would, you know, when you're making cookies. We'll be back. They're done. Tested in the center. Now, if you like yours more golden on the top, just leave them in your oven for another 1 or 2 minutes. I like them to where they're done on the inside, and that way they'll still be soft and moist and fluffy whenever we go to eat them, whether it's tomorrow or Sunday. Okay, I just wanted you to see them as they've come out, and I'll be back. Okay, so just to show you real quick, what I do is, and I do have little nails. I cut these every 2 weeks, but you know what? They grow back, and then I let them grow until they get on my nerves. Anyway, I grab the edges of the paper, and then I just set these over here. They're still, you know, they're not fresh out of the oven. They've set for about 3 minutes. Now, if you want bigger muffins, feel free to go ahead and fill these all the way up. It's just I've found that normally when I fill these all the way up, they end up coming up and out, and then I end up with a mess all over my pan, which, yes, I can wash that, but it doesn't make it any less annoying. So I thought I'd show you that. I'm going to finish these up, and I'm waiting for the other ones to get done. Okay, so the 2 left, still have about 3 minutes left in the oven. These are not like the muffin cup things that we have in the U.S., so yeah. Nice pockets of the strawberry after they've baked. So I'm eating this because I've not had breakfast. I've had coffee, and I normally have something for lunch, but I haven't been able to yet today. So I hope that this helps. I have my strawberry powder out because I believe I have some time to get some strawberry cookies made up to go in my freezer for the bake boxes that I'm going to do next week as gifts. for my husband's work. So anyway, I hope that you like this video. I do try to keep them short, but you know what? Teaching, showing, that can't be done in 5 minutes. Or it can. It leaves you with so many questions. You're like, I don't understand what to do. So I hope that you give this recipe a try, and I hope that you like it. And if you don't, then like I said earlier, there's a lot of strawberry muffin recipes out there, I think. And I hope that you find the recipe that's right for you. And as always, have a wonderful day.